EJ Wilson with African Diaspora News. Well, it's happening again and again.
Go kiss for me. Go kiss for me. Don't reach me.
And again.
That's £200 off for a family of 4. We've got millions of...
One suspected racist after the next, running up on black folks with the wrong kind of energy and simply being met with the energy they bring. This normally wouldn't be considered something newsworthy, but when you look at what this means in the greater context of the American culture and the diaspora in general, I think we need to go ahead and dive into this one. Now, the first thing that each of these FAFO cases actually shows up with is legally defensible self-defense and the videotaped presence of a suspected hate crime in progress. Therefore, these folks are well within their legal rights to do what they need to do. Now, as you know, you don't have to be a historian to understand that it was not always like this for us Black Americans. In fact, the legal framework that protects these black folks when it comes to self-defense is something that the Trump administration is actually trying to roll back. You see attack after attack from this administration on civil rights legislation, and you also don't have to be a historian to understand that these very rights that are protecting us now were fought for with blood, sweat, tears, death threats, the whole nine. We overcame terrorism to have ourselves with the ability to literally protect ourselves legally while protecting ourselves physically, and we not letting that go. And I think that somebody might be a little bit mad about that when they find out the hard way that we are willing to administer consequences in real life for trying to attack our humanity. But of all the FAFO events in recent history to go viral, there was one, brothers and sisters, that is there to rule them all. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the new Juneteenth. I'm talking about the Excelsior. I am talking about the serendipitous. I'm talking about the awe-inspiring Alabama brawl on August 5th in the year of our Lord 2023. Where a brother swam so that we might swing, where folding chairs showed up to FAFO when the police would not, when we unified. Okay, y'all think I'm playing. This was a cultural watershed moment. I'm gonna tell you why. Because, just as a brother watching this, it puts salve on an old wound that a lot of us have. That is the need for unity. That is a need to feel safe among our folks again. And that is the need to dispense justice against those who have done injustice for us for so long, and in a way that was natural, in a way that was tangible, and that a way that felt like it was something that we all had access to, just as regular folk walking around here in America. And another thing that it showed is that when it came to the zeitgeist, the spirit of the times of black folks, we have no interest in going back to the days where we could not defend ourselves. We had no interest in turning the other cheek to those who murdered our most peaceful activists. We have no interest in becoming someone who could be exemplar of the higher road when the low road is so frequently abused by people who abuse us. But what a lot of people don't understand about the Alabama brawl is the timing. I swear to God something was in the air, because only 1 week prior to that, Niger, with a military coup, finally threw off a puppet government that was keeping it economically enslaved to France. But if you've been following what's been happening in the Sahel states, the Sahel Alliance, the rise of Ibrahim Traore, you realize that this anti-colonial sentiment is global with the whole black family. You literally have a situation where, for the first time, we have the force and the weaponry, generally speaking globally, to actually defend our economic and personal interests in a way that does not ask for permission. And my theory is that we're witnessing the end of the illusion of inclusion all over the world, but black people didn't end it, no. It was the advent of far-right populism all across the Western world, whether you're looking at MAGA here in America, or you're looking at Brexit in England, or all of the times that black soccer players have been abused throughout the European Union, you name it. The idea that they could relapse back into racism has caused a reaction in black folks that hits an ancestral trigger that said, I have tried everything, try me if you want to, but there's going to be consequences and repercussions if you do. And this is why a lot of black folks who are generally peaceful are on board with this FAFO season that's being delivered. Because historically speaking, nobody has been more peaceful to other groups of people than black folks. Nobody, I don't care where you go. There's no place in the world where they're speaking, let's say, Yoruba, because Nigerian conquerors came over and stole their history and language with the blade of a sword. But that peace has not been shown to us, and anybody who has any real understanding of real world violence knows that sometimes somebody with an ignorant mindset doesn't get the picture that they need to wake up until they wake up with the evidence on their face. And listen, I know that you can get into some morally gray area when you talk about anything that sounds like you're advocating for violence, but these are defensive attacks. These folks are literally being maligned in public and pushing back and stopping their attackers. This is not folks going out proactively committing murder. You never seen a situation where, let's say, white folks tried to gentrify the hood, and then like the Ku Klux Klan, the gangsters gathered up the white folks and hung them from a tree. You do not see incidences like that anywhere in Black history. And if we don't stand on business, what happens? You enable a chain of violence that leads to our lynchings, historically speaking. So when we G-check white folks for saying the N-word, what is that? That is a word that permissions the space for violence against our bodies. That word coming from them means that you are nothing but a worthless Black object. And historically speaking, that word has been preceded by horrific, terroristic violence. And we're not going to take it anymore. Listen, I live in a two-way friendly state. I'm two-way friendly. Ain't nothing wrong with arming yourself to protect yourself, especially in times like these. So when you do violence, you take your own risk. But when those who bring violence to you, sometimes I just feel like the Most High, whatever version of it you believe in, sent that person to you to remind them that they are not invincible. Go ahead and do the Most High's work. My name is Theo E.J. Wilson with African Diaspora News. Go ahead and follow my YouTube channel at Theo Cyrus Rising. And I'll see you next time. Holla back.